Hello organics and fellow synthetics, Sisona here. So we can all pretty much assume if you clicked on this video you're a Mass Effect fan, because Mass Effect is one of the greatest video game series on the planet. But why? Easy answers are the story and the characters and the fact that it's a sci-fi series in space. And space is awesome! A lot of fans of Mass Effect come to it with a background of Star Trek, Star Wars, and to a slight degree other sci-fi series like Dune, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, and more. There is such a wide variety of universes that simply saying Mass Effect has a good story and compelling characters is selling the series short. By a lot. On the other end of the spectrum, you boil it down to just its video game mechanics of choice and third-person action-adventure RPG elements, which sure is part of the game, but it's not what makes Mass Effect great. Many others have gone into detail on what makes Mass Effect great, probably much better than I ever could, but with N7 Day right around the corner and the tease of Mass Effect Andromeda news, I decided it was time to put my own thoughts out there. So here, for our enjoyment and consumption, the top 7 things that make Mass Effect great. Number 7. Sarin. Of all the villains in the Mass Effect universe, Sarin is the most important, and I honestly think it might have been a mistake killing him off so early in the trilogy. Sarin walks this fine line between patriotism and racism that is relatable in a way that Cerberus never was. He has real reason to believe humans are a blight on the galaxy and should never have gotten mixed up in council politics. They don't have any humbleness, they think they know what's best, and they are always looking for that leg up against the rest of the species, so that despite being the newest race, they're already looking to make the first human Spectre and get a seat on the council. Preposterous! Despite that, Sarin's goal is to protect all organic life from extinction, and he does that by teaming up with the titans of synthetic life, the Reapers. Deep existential dread about existence and the meaning of life has sent him into the arms of the enemy, and throughout the game you make him doubt his decisions, but never his goals. It doesn't seem like an accident at all that the real boss battles with Sarin, though there are boss fights too, are the conversations. That at the end of it all, it's Shepard convincing him that he's too far gone into indoctrination, and the only way to win freedom for organics is to actually take his own life, and that puts a stop to Sarin. Sarin is a beautiful, ugly, tragic villain that we love to hate, we also kind of root for, in a way we never quite get again in the trilogy. The elusive man, Tim for short, is too distant of a figure, no matter how many times we have conversations with him, and his narrow goal of just protecting human interests flies in the face of everything we've learned in Mass Effect 1, Renegade or Paragon, about being stronger by uniting all species, that any person will instinctively shy away from Tim, even if they agree with the Cerberus rhetoric. And the Reapers? Well,
there is a realm of existence so far beyond your own, you cannot even imagine it. I am beyond your comprehension. I am sovereign.
It's either they're too mysterious to be complexly interesting, we know too much, and they're no longer terrifying. Sarin hits that right balance of being easy to hate, easy to oppose, and hard not to identify with, at least on some level, by the end, when it's far, far too late. Number 6. Spectres. Like many people, I came to Mass Effect because of another BioWare game. Whether it was Dragon Age Origins, Jade Empire, or Knights of the Old Republic, we had our share of BioWare's story special groups. Jedi are the easy ones to toss around, everybody wants to be a Jedi. But Monk or Grey Warden isn't all that bad either. The greatest shorthand for any video game, really, is to tell the player they are going to be a member of an elite band. The Spectres hit that spot, and then some. Because in Mass Effect, not only does this grant you special access to resources and make you instantly respected in most places, but as Shepard you were the first human Spectre. Nothing grabs a player more than being a special snowflake. The thing about the Spectres, though, is this idea that really anybody that becomes elite enough can become a Spectre. It doesn't come with the prerequisite need to be born with the ability to do special space magic, or drink blood that is slowly going to kill you, even. Just be a good enough soldier, which means being a Spectre doesn't affect your fighting playstyle, and your playstyle doesn't affect your ability to become a Spectre. Along the way, we meet other Spectres, from Sarin to Nihilus, each one unique, using their own strengths and resources to their advantage, which means no matter what, you're not being a Spectre wrong. On top of it giving your character credibility, it can also make you very alone. Spectres work individually for the most part, cut off from direct resources from the government, except for when they find it politically useful. It's isolating in a way that forces you to work your hardest to persevere regardless of the obstacles, and appreciate the people who did stick with you. Number 5. The Council. Nobody wants to sit through the Mass Effect version of C-SPAN, no matter how intriguing the universe is, or how big of nerds we are. But that doesn't mean the politics of the Mass Effect universe don't have their benefits. The original trilogy of Star Wars had its political and military meetings, Star Trek had Starfleet, so on and so forth. We have an intense desire to know that there is some sort of massive governing body making some sort of rules, even if our attention is on the lawless parts of a universe. We need the rules if we want to break them, just as much as we need the rules so we know what to follow. Mass Effect brings us an ideal of co-governing amongst different races of various backgrounds, looking for a way to benefit all species with the Citadel Council. While there is always going to be disagreement and dissent, it comes from a very good place of maintaining the law and stability of Council space. On the flip side, the Council is not always on our side. Because the Council has such a different big picture view, having been in the system and at these habits for centuries, they cannot be as flexible as Shepard. This means at times they are very much at odds with what could be the easiest path to victory. But when stability is the goal of the Council, it seems needless to give in to fear and battle without a sure reason to funnel the resources and cause fear in their citizens. Of course, they can seem too quick to throw Shepard under the bus, and, by extension, humanity for the benefit of their greater good. Yet they're never entirely wrong for their decisions, even if it is a stupid-ass decision. Number 4. The lore. Nothing gets you more invested in a story than knowing there's a story there. By that I mean, you meet a person and instead of a vague stereotypical NPC, you get somebody that comes to life. Because they've been to places, they have opinions, they care, and want. Mass Effect is dripping with these sorts of things, not only in characters, but in places and species and more. Take the Geth, the first enemy you meet. We instantly see bad because they're killing humans, and then a quick conversation later, our curiosity is piqued by the fact that the Geth haven't been seen in 3 centuries. As time progresses, you learn about the Geth from a Quarian's point of view, and you get the option to not only chastise the Quarians for building the Geth, but to agree or disagree with the decision to preemptively destroy all the Geth, which led to the Quarians' eventual exile. Your opinion of the events doesn't change Tally's though, and for good reason. It's a story she's been told since she was born. It's a prejudice that runs deep, and current evidence just proves that the Geth are and were a bad idea. As the games progress, we learn there are more layers to the Geth and Quarian struggle, assuming we don't give in to prejudice right away and turn over Legion to Cerberus to experiment on. The same complex and rich lore is true of the Krogan and reasons behind their rebellion and the eventual end due to genophage. Even the wise Asari have their own prejudices and culture that informs how each of them act, seen most notably with Samara. But more than that is the biology of the Asari, normalizing pansexual relationships as something that's not only okay, but healthy for a culture. Though feminine in appearance, Asari can choose mates of any gender and species and form relationships of all kinds. The only one their society has a problem with is having a child between 2 Asari, feeling that doing so doesn't diversify their species enough. Everywhere you turn in the Mass Effect universe, there is rich and meaningful lore, bringing your surroundings to life. It's one thing to say there is unique alien life in the galaxy, It's another to show there is unique alien life populating the galaxy. Number 3. Exploration. Piggybacking off the lore comes the ability to explore and discover. It's one thing to boot up Mass Effect 2 and have Jacob explain Cerberus to you as a human activist group seen as terrorists. It's another if you've explored facilities in the first game, destroying Cerberus projects along the way. Having Kaidan open up about Brain Camp or Samara admitting to the Asari's best-kept secret, the Ardat Yakshi, is something you earn through patience as you get to know your crew. While physical exploration of planets was taken out of the game after the first Mass Effect, and levels were narrowed down to interconnected shooting galleries, it never lost the sense that there is a galaxy to explore. Each mission brought you to new environments, brought you into contact with interesting people, and expanded your understanding of the universe. Whether you rushed through conversations and ignored the codex entries, or spent hours combing every datapad for new information, there was always something new to learn. Number 2. The Normandy. In Star Trek, you have the Enterprise. In Knights of the Old Republic, you have the Ebon Hawk. For Mass Effect, you have the Normandy. More than just the ship that takes you from point A to point B, it's the hub that allows you to speak to the crew you put together. And the more time you spend getting to know its halls and systems, the more alive the Normandy becomes. From the very beginning, the first Normandy is revealed to be a project between humans and Turians, to try and heal some of the racial divide created from the First Contact War. Following the destruction of the SR-1, the crew go off in their own separate directions, and it's only with the SR-2 that Shepard brings his or her friends and allies back together to save the day. From Engineer Adams to EDI, faces and crew bring the inside to life. Mass Effect 2 brought in a level of customization to the ship, allowing Shepard to place model ships on display and feed their collection of fish. Not only that, but choosing whether or not to upgrade key systems could mean the difference between success and failure, life and death for many of your crew members and friends. The Normandy is the place that you make decisions on which quests to do and in what order, and where any romance Shepard may become part of starts and culminates. Everything you do on the Normandy is important, and by extension, you are important to the lives that look to you for leadership and the entire galaxy. Number 1. With so many voiceless, faceless, or just plain generic protagonists in the video gaming industry, it's no wonder that jumping into the shoes of Commander Shepard would be so exciting for so many people. Customizable from their gender, background, down to the color of their eyes and the choices they make, Shepard is the greatest part of the original Mass Effect trilogy. There is a reason one of BioWare's teaser trailers is a goodbye letter from Shepard as we leave behind the original 3 games for the Andromeda Galaxy. No matter if you were Paragon or Renegade, Shepard was a hero with levels of stubbornness and perseverance to be jealous of. He or she were nearly superhuman in their ability to face any obstacle that got in their way, plus the very idea of the inclusivity that Shepard offers almost every single player is not to be scoffed at. For pretty much the first time, each player had a fully voiced, fully animated, playable character unique to them. If you wanted an Asian badass sniper that had a thing for Turians, you could do that. I've read so many stories about how being able to romance Liara helped many accept their sexuality, whether they played as male or female Shepard. Because through Shepard they got to choose to romance Liara, and knowing she would reciprocate those feelings even if they had chosen the other gender made it more comfortable for them to accept that in real life they'd want to romance Liara. For others, the option to finally play something other than a white protagonist made them feel as if they could belong. Being a space marine is for everybody. Shepard is for everybody. So there we have it, my top 7 best things about Mass Effect. What do you think are the top best things about Mass Effect? Write it down in the comments below or send me a tweet to @SisonaCR. Maybe hit subscribe for more N7 Day and Andromeda goodness. What could it hurt? Now here's to hoping that the Tempest and Raider are just as great as the Normandy and Shepard. Sisona signing out.